Communication is a big part of our lives. Thanks to our telecom phone providers, our distance is no longer barrier. We can connect with family, friends, or colleagues through various methods, text messages, emails, or calls, no matter where we are in the world. But here's the problem. Your data with your telecom provider could be at risk. Recently, AT&T had a data breach that impacted 73 million customers. Hi, my name is Michael from My Data Removal. In this video, we're going to dive into the details of the AT&T data breach and how it might affect you if you are a customer or former customer. We'll talk about the breaches of other telecom companies as well, not just AT&T, like Verizon or T-Mobile. More importantly, I'll show you what steps you can take to protect your family and loved ones, even if your data was part of the breach data. On March 26, AT&T announced that a data set of theirs had been stolen and exposed on the dark web. This breach affected 7.6 million current AT&T customers and 65.4 former account holders, bringing the total to 73 million individuals whose data was stolen. And if you're a current customer or even a former AT&T customer, you might be one of these 73 million people whose data had been stolen. As for how this breach happened, AT&T stated that they're still investigating and not really sure if the data was stolen from AT&T directly or from its vendors. So, what customer data was affected? You might be asking this question. Let's dive into that. AT&T said that the exposed data set is from 2019 or earlier and does not include customer calls or financial information. However, the compromised data set does show that Social Security were affected, passcodes, typically your 4-digit code that you have to provide to AT&T, your full names, email addresses, and mailing addresses, phone numbers, dates of birth, and your AT&T account. These are very, very sensitive information, and you know what? Cyber criminals would absolutely love to do something with it. For example, with your email address, scammers can send phishing emails pretending to be AT&T. With your Social Security number, they can open credit cards and loans in your name. There are many ways cyber criminals can misuse this stolen data. We'll give you more real-life examples later in the video. For now, the big question is, with all that sensitive data on the dark web, what is AT&T doing about this? An AT&T spokesperson said that on April 11th, they started notifying affected customers via email or letter. Additionally, AT&T has already taken some steps. For example, they reset passcodes for customers and offered a $1 million insurance policy and 1 year of free credit and identity theft monitoring for affected customers. Apparently, instructions were emailed to customers who were affected, and if you didn't get an email but were affected, you can still call AT&T's customer service and they will take care of you. That's what they've said. So, they've also said that they've launched a robust investigation with cybersecurity experts. However, there's no confirmation that the data of the 73 million customers has been in fact removed from the dark web. So, essentially, customers are still at risk. This isn't the first time AT&T has been actually breached. Just last year, AT&T was hacked and 9 million customers' data was stolen. The stolen data, much like the current one, included first name, email address, phone numbers, wireless account numbers, and wireless plan details. In 2021, another data breach affected 70 million customers. A hacker group called Shiny Hunters claimed responsibility and said they were selling the data on the dark web. AT&T denied that the data came from their system, but TechCrunch recently reported that the compromised data did originate from AT&T, and customers also confirmed it. AT&T hasn't confirmed how the information was leaked. With their track record though, can customers trust that their personal information will be safe with them? Now, if you're not an AT&T customer, you might be thinking, thank goodness, I'm safe. None of this affects me. Not so fast. Just because your phone provider isn't AT&T doesn't necessarily mean you're safe. Your telecom provider can also be breached because, in general, telcos, they store very valuable information like your phone number. As I've said, criminals can exploit this information for their profit. For example, they can use your stolen phone numbers for SIM swaps to access your bank account. I'll explain more about this later. But first, let's look at some other phone company breaches outside of AT&T. In 2022, Verizon reported that hackers accessed the last 4 digits of credit cards used for Verizon accounts. These hackers used those 4 digits to breach about 250 paid wireless accounts. Fortunately though, the hackers didn't get access to full credit card numbers or banking information, passwords or social security numbers, or even tax IDs. However, they might have accessed customers' names, bill and addresses, price plans, telephone numbers, and other service-related information. One affected Verizon customer told Bleeping Computer that the attackers breached my email and attempted to access my crypto account. I suspect they used information from the Coinbase breach to target me, but got access due to the exposure of the credit card information from Verizon. Verizon assured customers that the unauthorized access was blocked and that they had to reset the PINs of the affected customers. So let's connect the dots here. Do you see how the data breaches can lead to bigger consequences? A bad actor accesses data from Verizon and then combines that with this data stolen from Coinbase to access people's crypto wallets. If these hackers have the skills to do this, they won't stop at crypto. They will dig through more personal information to find more vulnerabilities on their victims. This could mean accessing your credit card or making large purchases or even trying to take out loans all in your name. There's no limit to what a hacker with your personal information could do. Now, let's talk more about T-Mobile. In 2023, T-Mobile experienced a data breach that affected 36 million customers. So here's what happened. On January 5th, a threat actor exploited what's called an application programming interface, or API for short. This bad actor accessed this API to access T-Mobile's customer data. T-Mobile detected and contained this attack on the same day, so customers' passwords, financial details, and government IDs, and even their social security numbers were not compromised. However, though, the hackers did access customers' names, email addresses, and billing addresses, including their phone numbers, date of birth, and T-Mobile accounts, and even their mobile plans. T-Mobile notified the impacted customers and reassured them that they are committed to quote-unquote strengthening their cybersecurity to prevent further breaches. Now, a year ago in 2022, T-Mobile spent $150 million to improve its data security after a 2021 hack that affected 76 million customers. T-Mobile had to pay $350 million in settlements and spend an additional $150 million on security upgrades. But despite all these upgrades, they were still breached in 2023. So it makes you wonder, how much money does T-Mobile need to spend to ensure that customer data is not going to be breached again? I mean, is there even an amount sufficient enough for T-Mobile not to get breached again? Former director Robert Mueller once said there are 2 types of companies: those that have been hacked and those that will be hacked. Similarly, Cisco Systems' former CEO also said there are 2 types of companies: those that have been hacked and those that don't know they've been hacked. In short, none of these telecom providers we discussed today can ever really protect their systems from being breached by 100%. They can make it harder for bad actors, but eventually those hackers who are determined enough will find a way in. The bottom line is that any telecom provider can be targeted by hackers because they store vast, valuable amount of customer information. As you've seen in our previous videos, your personal data is extremely valuable to cyber criminals because of what they can do with them. Just like with AT&T, breached telecom data can be leaked or sold on the dark web. Once it's on the dark web, other cyber criminals can buy or use it for various scams such as identity theft, extortions, and whatever else they can come up with. To give you a better idea of what can happen if your telecom data is breached, we're going to go through 2 real-life stories of scams that use phone companies' data. SIM swapping is a type of a scam that exploits telecom data. Here's how it works. A cybercriminal uses exposed telecom data, like your name and phone number, to trick your telecom provider into transferring your phone number to a new SIM card that the hacker owns. Once your number is transferred, the hacker controls the text messages and calls meant for you. With access to your text messages, they can get into your financial account. For example, a scammer can reset your online banking password or even access your investment account by using your number to get the verification codes sent to them via SMS text. One victim of SIM swapping was Dan Clark from Florida. His phone number was transferred to another imposter's device. By the time he found out, it was already too late. He had already lost his life savings of $700,000. Clark said that his phone read "no SIM card, no service." He said he lost everything in just a matter of minutes. T-Mobile confirmed that Clark's SIM was swapped numerous times actually, even after he regained access and requested alerts to stop the swaps. Unfortunately, there are no updates on whether Clark got his money back or any resolution to his case. Wangiri fraud originated in Japan. Wangiri means one ring and cut. Here's how it works. The scammer calls you using an international number and lets it ring once or twice so you miss the call. You may call back out of curiosity or concern, thinking it might be important. When you call back, you are rerouted to a premium rate number which charges high fees per minute. The scammer profits from these charges. They often try to keep you on the line longer by playing with your emotions, saying something like, "You've received a song from a secret lover. Listen to it and find out who sent it to you." First, that piques your curiosity. One recent case involved a telecom provider, O2. The victim claimed that they never received any calls and did not make any international calls. However, O2 employees confirmed that the victim had a 5-hour international call to Tunisia, and that resulted in £914, or $1,150. O2 acknowledged that the victim experienced Wangiri fraud and refunded the victim, thankfully. The case remains unsolved and it's unclear exactly what happened. But we believe it is possible that the victim's phone's number was swapped before the Wangiri call explained why they never received the call in the first place. This case shows how breached telecom data can be used for the Wangiri scam, which is one ring and cut scam. Now that you know what cybercriminals can do with your telecom exposed data, let's share 3 tips to help you protect yourself from scammers. Tip number 1 is to remove your breached telecom data from the internet. And here's how you can do it. You can visit My Data Removal. There, you can run a free scan to see where your stolen data might be showing up on the internet. You can use the free opt-out guide to remove your data that's been affected from any breaches. Just follow the steps and check the list of data brokers and people search sites that might have your data. Tip number 2. Set up a fraud alert and freeze your credit. This helps prevent scammers from opening up new accounts or taking out new credit cards in your name. It's also free and easy to do. For fraud alerts, contact one of the 3 credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion. Here are the contact details. The bureau you contact will notify the other 2 about the fraud alert. You can also do this through their website. I'll put the links in the description below. To freeze your credit, call and ask all these 3 credit bureaus to freeze your credit. Once your credit is frozen, fraudsters won't be able to open up any new accounts or access your credit report without your approval. Also, ask your credit card company to alert you when they detect any suspicious activity or charges on your credit card. You can request to cancel your compromised credit card and get new ones. Even better, if your credit card offers a virtual credit card, make sure you switch all your accounts to virtual credit cards to prevent any unexpected charges from unknown vendors. Finally, change your passwords and enable two-factor authentication. Sometimes telecom providers automatically reset passwords after a data breach, but it's still a good idea that you update your own passwords. Pair your new passwords with two-factor authentication to make sure that your accounts are more secure. With two-factor authentication, even if cybercriminals have access to your login details or even your phone number, they'll still need the authentication code to be able to access your account. This could be something like fingerprints, facial recognition, or security questions. As FTC says, think of it as having two locks on your door. So whenever you can, please set up a two-factor authentication so that you can be more secure. If your telecom provider doesn't provide two-factor, you can use an app. The New York Times recommends Duo Mobile and Google Authenticator, so consider checking them out. AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon are just a few of the major telecom companies that have been breached over the years. But one thing's for sure, as long as there is data that resides in these telecom companies, hackers will continue to attack them in order to steal and scam with that information. So that's all for today. But I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Has your telecom provider been breached before? Have you been victim of scams like SIM swapping or Wangiri fraud? Share your experience with us in the comments below. And please don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our future privacy videos. This has been My Data Removal. We help you protect your most valuable asset, which is your data. See you on the next video.